Welcome back, and time now for some news, and we might as well continue with the adventure theme from part one of the show. There could well soon be an addition to the 300 class of adventure bikes from TVS. That's the Indian side of the partnership with BMW that produces the G310R and GS for the German manufacturer. TVS has already used that relationship to develop its own sport bike off the back of the G310R, the Apache RR310. That uses the same technology as the BMW, but is clothed in what I have to say is a very good looking full fairing and is sold in India as a premium small capacity sport bike, but at a lower cost than an equivalent model wearing the BMW roundel. It has been doing very well since it made its debut, and on the back of that success, TVS is rumoured to be about to bring out its own adventure model, which will obviously be a more affordable version of the G310 GS. Both Apache models would be a welcome addition to the South African market. Let's move on to a new model that's more than a rumour. There is a new Yamaha R7. If you're a bit older, that might prompt images of World Superbike racing, because not too long ago it was a homologation special that Yamaha built to win the World Superbike title with the likes of the legendary Nori Haga. I rode one when it came out in 1999 and it didn't look very special, to be honest, and it was a bit rubbish as a road bike. But then it wasn't really meant to be used on the road at all. Yamaha only built 500 of them and it came limited to 100 horsepower. And despite already being hugely expensive, you had to spend another fortune to get it up to race-ready spec, and once you did that, it would quite often blow up. The new R7 is not like that at all and will be a lot more affordable, will be way more fun as a road bike, and should also be hugely entertaining as a track day toy. This new version looks better and will be many times more reliable because it uses the same engine that is already found in the MT-07. And let's also remember, before you get all upset by the fact that the new R7 is no longer a pucker race bike, that Yamaha doesn't actually have a middleweight sport bike without this model, because it retired the R6 and made it a track-only racer special. It's basically the same chassis as the MT-07, but with a set of slightly shorter, fully adjustable upside-down forks which have sharpened the steering a little. The riding position is obviously more committed given a set of clip-ons, but the engine has remained unchanged, so you get the MT-07's 73 horsepower and 67 newton meters. The bodywork is as effective as it is pretty as well, because they've kept it narrower than an R3 despite the bigger engine, and that helps it gain another 10 kilometers an hour top speed over the MT-07. I can see other manufacturers bringing similar models out in the near future based on their own naked middleweight twins, bringing sport biking back to the masses once again. Expect a race series similar to the Feeder 300 class at World Superbikes to eventually replace the middleweight supersport class as the logical step between the little uns and the big litre class bikes. Possibly. In a logical world. I suppose 80 to 230 horsepower is a big jump, but then again, Moto2 to MotoGP is also more than a doubling of horsepower. Talking of horsepower, let's have a look at the latest version of one of the world's most powerful naked bikes. It doesn't have the mass appeal of the R7 because at somewhere in the region of 600,000 rand, it's about 5 times as expensive. But it is just about the most striking looking bike you could possibly buy at the moment. And as far as I'm concerned, that makes it worth slobbering over whenever the opportunity arises. I first saw MV Agusta's Rush at the end of 2019 at the EICMA show in Milan, and it went on sale last year as a limited edition run of 300 bikes. If you've been around for a while, you will know that the Italians have a different interpretation for the meaning of limited edition to the rest of us. So when a limited production run is successful and makes money, it is obviously in the interests of those customers who invested in the first batch to be rewarded with news of a second limited edition model. Same as the first, but a bit better. And in this case also limited to 300. Apart from a colour change from the red and black to grey and yellow, it is the same bike, but with some mainly electronic tweaks. So that means an identical 208 horsepower or 212 with a SC Project exhaust. it is still a fabulously over-the-top machine. I still want one, but I would be resigned to seeing a new limited edition of 300 examples next year with a blue and purple paint scheme that will inevitably devalue my purchase a little more quickly than I might have anticipated. Ah, well, it's a very first world problem. It doesn't affect me or most of you, so I'll just have a little chuckle and move on to our final ad break. Back in a moment.